I'm someone who's hyper obsessive over optimizing my workflow and making it as fast as possible. After analyzing every movement of the mouse, every click on the keyboard during the editing process, you begin to identify certain actions that are strictly repeatable, such as, removing silences. It's cut, move a few frames until it's over, another cut, press delete, or adding slight zoom effects. It's adjustment layer, keyframe, second keyframe with scale, done. Or adding captions, removing bad takes, changing the format from horizontal to vertical. The list goes on. So here's a quick story time that goes a few years back. It's 2023, so I'm sitting doing the cuts, removing the silences. I was pissed off because I felt like what I was doing, even back then, could have been potentially done fully automatically. Remember my obsession over optimizing my workflow? From a technical perspective, you could just tell the computer to analyze the audio graph, take a look at, let's say, where the audio is below minus 30 decibels, and remove all of those irritating empty spaces. So teenage me decided to scour GitHub and decided to find code that's gonna do that for me. Long story short, it was a genius idea and it worked. It successfully removed all the silences automatically, but I just couldn't sleep. There was still so much to it. Remember that list I mentioned earlier with all the repeatable things? I only ticked off one of those boxes. Well, guess what? Back then, I didn't do anything about it. But 2023 teenage me would have been so grateful if I showed him today's video with the download link to this app called AutoCut. Because AutoCut. It's a simple plugin for Premiere, and I think they also have a DaVinci Resolve version where all those repeatable steps video editors perform daily are broken down into 10 different automations you can perform with one click, or 2 or 3 clicks. Simple. You want to remove the silences? Click, boom, done. You want to remove the bad takes? Click, boom, done. You want captions, but you don't want to type them in manually, or you're tired with the inbuilt feature that Premiere Pro has for that? Click, boom. It's easy, it's straightforward, and most importantly, it saves you time. And as all of us video editors know, time equals money. So, okay, it sounds good on paper, but let's actually check if it will do a good job quality-wise due to window extensions and AutoCut. Boom. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to AutoCut silences, validate the sections, boom, boom, boom. You can also adjust the pacing. I'm just going to use the automatic feature for this, but you can use column measured paste. Let's just do paste. Okay, that sounds good. Another cool thing is you can do L cuts or J cuts. I'm just going to do J cuts. Let's take a look at how it looks like on the timeline while it's working. Let's just see the master at work, huh? I'm just going to take a rest. And now it's doing the J cuts and L cuts. No, the J cuts. That was kind of cool, guys. We did AutoCut silences. Now it's time for AutoCut repeat. Entire timeline, validate sections, generate the transcript. It's going to take some time to generate the transcript because it's just going to basically transcribe everything I said throughout the 10 minutes and 22 seconds of this timeline. And now you can see every time I repeat myself, it just cut out the previous take. So I'm someone who's hyper obsessive. I've got my script right here, so I can just take a look. I've got optimizing the workflow, making it as fast as possible. So I'm just going to remove the word so because I want to keep it. Boom, now I can just click clock sequence. Let's give it a sec to load. Beautiful, now we have a 5-minute, 23-second video. Okay, we've checked that out, but removing silences is nothing impressive. Even the 2023 version of Oscar figured out how to do it with a bunch of GitHub code. So what about other stuff? Let me show you, bruv. Since due to the low attention span and stuff that's happening on social media, it's kind of hard to catch any attention through this kind of video. So you can add video effects and stuff, but right now we'll focus on the captions feature in AutoCut. So let's just go to AutoCut as always. And in here, we've got auto captions, okay? Entire timeline, validate the sections, boom. Now I'm just gonna click this. It's gonna generate the captions right here. It's gonna analyze the audio file. It's gonna put it through their AI, whatever, on the back end. Usually the way I do this is first I look at the transcript editor and just make sure that everything is 100% correct. So, okay. Actually, it highlights low confidence words red, so it's cool. Let me just take a look. We need to add the word I, because I think I cut this off. Boom, quick, done. Next thing is I've got my preset right here for my captions. However, you probably have your own brand color, your own brand font, your own idea as to what you want the captions to look like. And AutoCut does offer quite a bit of customizability options. So pick a random font, boom, okay? Next, we can add an animation. I, for example, added a text box animation. You can do a colored highlight, something like this. Let's use this. And then we can also add floating text. So basically, it's just going to do a bit of a weekly style thing. Let's do totally opposite of what I have. So let's just do green, just, you know, to break the rules. We can add zoom in and blur in. So each new line will have a new zoom in or blur in. Let's just leave it on. I think that's fine. Then add a glow, which is, I mean, I'd call this a shadow. I don't know why this is called glow, but it works. So you can do italic, uppercase. Uppercase looks good. Remove punctuation. Yeah, let's remove punctuation. Outline. You can add an outline, however, I mean, yeah, let's do it. I never do that, but let's do the exact opposite of what I do, just to prove that you can do pretty much anything. And of course, these are not like super polished After Effects style captions, but they're just supposed to get the job done. And I've noticed that a lot of my clients just want good looking videos with good captions that just get the job done. Sometimes you don't really need like a super polished editing style. So I'm just going to apply this. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to click add captions. And let's take a look at what happens right here. Take a look at this. I'm going to put this on my second monitor. Boom. We did this in 6 seconds. Yeah. And one more thing I'm just going to do is I'm just going to add a bit of shadow to this and just take a look at this. I was never the best video editor in the world, but I knew that in order to make thousands of dollars a month with video editing, I had to be relentless, send out the email. So this is good if you just need your captions done. If you don't need deep glow on your captions, if you don't need CC light sweep on your captions, this will get the job done. You know, this is like a Hormozy style captions. If you land Hormozy as a client or like a B2B client, this will probably get the job done. And you can do it literally in seconds. In and out. See, that was a zoom in. That's the OG trick we all editors use in order to capture the viewer's attention a bit more and increase retention. But doing it manually nowadays, you know, with the adjustment layers and keyframes, is not really worth it anymore because AutoCut will do it for you, bro. But you probably first want to see if it does any good. This is the intro to today's YouTube video. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use the auto zoom feature to create those nice zoom in and out effects depending on what, right? It depends on what kind of zoom rhythm you select. So you can select, you know, a calm one, a moderate one, an energetic one, or hyperactive or very calm. You pick. They also have like an AI feature that basically analyzes the structure of a sentence and it listens to the emotion in the sentence, basically, or at what point in the sentence you put, like, you know, the most energy into it. I guess it depends. It's AI, so it will figure it out. We can trust it, I guess. Then it also does the basic zoom ins and outs when you speak, and it, you know, performs a cut every time there's a timeline cut. So basically, in this case, that's not the best case scenario because I've got loads of cuts because I made a fuck ton of mistakes in here. But I think this kind of feature, I'd use it more for short form videos personally. But let's take a look. To identify certain actions that are strictly repeatable, such as, you know, removing silences. It's cut, move a few frames until it's over. Another cut, press removing silences. It's cut. Okay, this is nice. For a long form video, you probably don't want moderate or over exaggerated zoom ins. Maybe for a short, that would be perfect because, you know, it keeps the viewer engaged and hooked and his dopamine receptors explode. But to sum this part of the video up, it did come in handy for me a couple of times throughout the time I've been using this. I think I've used it for like 15 reels so far. I've had this tool for like a month or something. So honestly, yeah, I like it. I like it. Now, there's one feature in here that if you're a podcast video editor, this is not going to save you 10 hours per week. It will probably be even closer to 25 hours per week, if not more. Look at this. Okay, guys. So the next feature is AutoCut podcast. And I'm actually trolling you guys because this is not my premiere. This is actually a YouTube video from AutoCut's YouTube channel. But that is simply due to the reason that I could not find any podcast footage. I have not done podcasts in a very long time. And partly maybe because clients have caught up and realized that you can literally edit podcasts in one click. Maybe that's the reason. Let me just show you very quickly. You basically, you know, you go to AutoCut podcast, then you move over to here. You select which audio tracks you're using, and then you just add a name for each track based on the speaker's name. So track A1, you just input the name of the speaker that's speaking into the microphone on track 1. And then there's the second speaker. You just name that second track to the name of the speaker that's speaking to the microphone on track number 2. And then you scroll down and you need to select which video track is correlated to which speaker, right? So basically we've got 2 tracks right here, but that's not it. In this case, we had 3 video tracks because we have one angle where we've got just Shirley, the second one where we've got just Julia, and then the third one where we've got both of them. So what we do right here is we actually introduce a third track where we have both Shirley and Julia. And now, as always, in AutoCut, you can select, you know, the shot durations, calm, pace, energetic, hyperactive. And then, you know, you can adjust all those settings. You can even create a preset off of this if you know, have multiple videos in one and need to deliver sort of pretty much the same style of podcast with similar angles and recorded in a similar studio, I guess. And then basically you click the button and it does it for you. Basically, anytime the speaker speaks, it switches the camera to the camera that's directed strictly at that speaker. If both of them are speaking at the same time, it switches to the moment where both of the speakers are visible on camera at the same time. It's fucking amazing. As you can see, it saved 102 hours. I guess this number is not really realistic, but I guess it will be closer to a solid 10 to 12 to maybe 20 hours even. Now, there's a bunch of other features such as a profanity filter. Let's test it out live. Oh, I hate cutting out those silences manually. Stupid. This is a gamble, guys. If the profanity filter doesn't work, this video will be taken down by YouTube. Next, the auto viral feature will identify certain moments with viral potential out of your long form video, and it will generate a sort of viral clip, as AutoCut calls it, like a short form video with a lot of viral potential. Let's try to do this with this video I have on my YouTube channel, and let's see which moments it will pick. Okay, so right here we've got the video. It was about how to price your services as a video editor in 2025, the secret formula or something like this. Basically what we're going to do is we're just going to create a bunch of viral clips from this video, because I'm basically sitting here in this video. I'm sitting here and explaining something. Sometimes I'm pointing at the whiteboard and stuff, but there's no animation, so I think it's like a perfect opportunity to take a long form video and snap it into a viral clip. So boom, a bunch of viral clips, so validate sections. Let's just use the basic function to transcript AI. This will basically analyze the whole video, and it will cut out specific moments that it feels like could be potentially viral short form clips. Now we've got a bunch of viral clips we even have like viral scores. And what we can do is we can actually just select all of those, and we can generate 7 viral clips. So as you can see, it's literally generating separate sequences for each of those shorts or reels, whatever you want to call it. And now we've got like 7 viral clips out of this. Now I should have probably initially changed the resolution to a vertical one, but in fact we can actually test the feature very quickly. I mentioned earlier where you can change it to a vertical video very easy. So auto resize, okay, entire timeline, validate sections, TikTok reels. Okay, boom, let's resize this. Let's see what kind of job it does. Boom, it did resize it. Yeah, this client, if you spend 10 hours editing this versus 20 hours editing this client is the one you want to retain. Sometimes it does track, you know, if this is a kind of rare case scenario, because normally people don't record videos where they draw on a board, but I was still surprised that it did track this right here. But either way, we got a viral clip. Now we already reposition it so that it is horizontal. Now we can add the captions with the auto captions feature. And one more thing you can do is you can actually add B-roll. And there's another thing we're going to do. Let me show you. And then we also have auto B-roll, which will basically analyze the whole video. We'll identify moments where we could potentially add B-roll clips, and we'll add them for you. Okay, we had that same video we had previously. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the auto B-rolls feature. Let's see how this performs. We generally don't use this as much, but probably because I've been focusing on creating rather like animations and stuff recently. Let's just add B-rolls. Okay, so I need to select AI generated image, next B-roll, AI generated image, next one, AI generated image, next one, AI generated image. So you basically have an integrated image generator for this. I'm just going to generate a bunch of images. We'll see how accurate this is. I'll need to, okay, now I need to select this. Now I need to select this. Now I need to select this. Okay, done, add B-rolls. I think AutoCut to play around with this so that you don't need to click around that much here. This is not accurate. I'd remove this. But here I'm talking about it in your voice, so this is accurate. Let me see. Not obvious. Because if you spend 10 hours editing these videos, and you spend 20 hours editing these videos. Okay, if I had captions here, maybe this would be a bit more appealing. Plus, I could add like a quick zoom effect here to make it a bit more interesting. Because if you spend 10, I guess, yeah, this feature, the last feature of the B-rolls, I probably like wouldn't use this as much as the other ones. Maybe sometimes if I'd be in a huge rush, perhaps, yeah. And all of this kind of feels like cheating, I'm not gonna lie. So now it's time for you to pick. Do you want to be slow and you want to stay behind, or do you want to be ahead of everyone and you want to edit way faster? I personally pick option number 2 because I'm a smart editor. You'll find a link to AutoCut in the description below, but before you go, if you want to know more about how to become 3 to 5 times faster than the average video editor thanks to leveraging 2 things, AI and all the new tools on the market, the right workflow along with that, I'm pretty sure you'll love SmartEditors. So if you head down to today's video description, at the top you'll find the link to AutoCut, but below it you will find a link to Smart and Rich Editors. Feel free to check it out. Make sure to check out this video if you find it potentially interesting or valuable, and I'll hope to see you in the next one.